With BYD launching their electric cars in countries all over the world, around 20 different countries, over the coming months and over the previous few months, there's understandably a lot of hysteria about BYD's Blade battery. I mean, when you see the news, right, that BYD keeps on manufacturing batteries and ramping production of batteries up at a record historical pace, taking market share from other battery companies like LG Chem, then one might believe that yes, BYD's Blade battery is amazing new technology. But actually, that's not really true. I'm going to set the record straight. There's two things going on here, and people, I believe, are being misled by the current claims about BYD's battery technology. Hello my friends, welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Welcome back everyone else. We just hit about 80,000 subscribers and thank you for being part of that. I have been making videos about BYD now for well over a year and well before all the current BYD hysteria began. In fact, well before pretty much anyone in Australia knew who the company was. Well, not anyone. I'm sure there was a few people, but very, very few. In fact, I made some of the first videos on YouTube talking about BYD's Blade battery technology and how impressive it is. But is it really that impressive? Well, let's have a look at the facts. But first, the most impressive thing about BYD's Blade battery is the fact that BYD seems to be able to ramp production quicker than anyone else. Is that really true? It is actually. Here's a graph. Have a look at it from cnavpost.com. It shows you how BYD has ramped up battery production. LFP batteries don't use nickel. They don't use cobalt. They don't use aluminium. They don't use any rare earths. They only use lithium and a lower quality of lithium than what's needed in lithium ternary batteries. And they use phosphate and iron. Two very abundant materials, obviously lithium and iron. And phosphate doesn't seem all that hard to get. A lot of people thought it would be, but we haven't seen any problems in market supply of phosphate over the past 12 months. So that's one of the big advantages that BYD have. Ramping up battery production. Battery production actually right now for BYD is going incredibly well. And this is the tip of the iceberg. We're going to see the full iceberg within the next few months. By the end of the year, BYD's new 100 gigawatt hour LFP battery factory will open. And it won't be vaporware. It won't be promises from Mary Barra talking about millions of EVs happening within 12 months. It'll be real. BYD doesn't talk. They don't talk. They do very little talking. I mean, obviously there's a lot of Facebook groups that do a lot of talking about BYD, but BYD themselves, they do very little talking and they do a lot of acting, as we can see by their battery share numbers. CATL's batteries installed base in China in July was 11.4 gigawatt hours, which ranks first with 47% share in China. BYD came in second place with 25% share or 6.1 gigawatt hours of installed capacity. That's up from 18.53% in June. And what's happened this year as BYD has actually stolen market share from its competition. Its market share is increasing where companies like LG Chem, global powerhouse, their market share has been contracting. BYD's market share in July was its second highest on record, behind April's record high of 32%. And BYD is expected to continue to grow, according to cnavpost.com, in the power sector, as Tesla is using their batteries. Toyota will be using their batteries in their new Toyota Corolla that BYD is manufacturing. And also BYD is ramping production incredibly quickly. Where do they get batteries from? Well, they get them from themselves, from BYD. So as you can see, there's a lot of reasons for BYD's battery production to continue to ramp quickly. That is the key advantage of BYD's batteries, right? Ramping production. There's another key advantage, and I've talked about this for a long time now. I mentioned this about 15 months ago. The safety of the battery. This is one of the key reasons why their market share is increasing. They haven't needed to do any recalls at all, which is not the case at all for their competing battery technology of lithium ternary batteries, which, as you know, battery fires, battery recalls seem to be happening every second week. So the BYD Blade Battery, BYD have a video where they pierced the battery with a nail, they ran over it with a truck, they put it back into the car, and it worked fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Lithium iron phosphate batteries are much safer than ternary batteries. They can be charged to 100% with no battery degradation. They will do 3 times as many cycles as a ternary battery. There's some huge advantages. It's really the only disadvantages are 2. The weight of the battery is heavier and the energy density is lower. Now, speaking of energy density, this is an area where BYD, they're not exactly world leaders. If it comes to technological development, I don't think BYD is leading in any way. That's fair. Production, excellent. Safety, excellent. Technological development, well, we have nothing. We have no news from BYD at all over the past 6 months talking about future energy development increases, future energy density increases, talking about future technology. There's nothing. BYD is simply focused on producing the same batteries that they have now that are safe and proven, but don't have world-leading energy density, and they don't plan on having it, and that's fine. That's okay. But I think we need to make the record straight here. BYD are not developing some revolutionary battery technology, at least not that anyone is aware of. They're not going to be leading the industry in some sort of technological marvel. That's not what they're about. They're about production. They're about efficiency. They're about safety and about getting as many battery packs out into cars as is humanly possible. In fact, speaking of safety, BYD promised to set a new benchmark in battery safety when the announcement was made in 2020 of its Blade batteries. And even though since then there's been a number of fires, I think about 20 to 30 electric vehicle battery fires in BYD's cars, all of those, as far as I'm aware, haven't involved BYD's Blade batteries. One of the other advantages of BYD's batteries is that instead of having multiple modules, the Blade battery stacks all the cells together, saving over 50% space compared to other battery blocks, says Top Electric SUV. According to He Long, Vice President of BYD and Chairman of FinDreams Battery Company, the Blade battery has 4 various advantages. Slow heat release, very, very slow. Low heat generation, that's really important. High starting temperature for exothermic reactions, and the ability to not release oxygen during a breakdown. Obviously, what do fires need to burn? Oxygen. Without oxygen, fires are starved and they often will die. In addition, BYD was one of the first companies to use a battery thermal management, or BMS, to ensure that the temperature of the batteries remains at the optimal level in all extreme weather conditions, whether that means that you're driving in sub-Saharan Africa or somewhere in India, somewhere in the Middle East where temperatures routinely get up to 50 degrees Celsius, or whether you're driving in, say, Canada, somewhere really cold, Alaska, or somewhere in Northern Europe where temperatures can get to minus 30. BYD's Blade batteries will work in those temperatures. One thing many people don't realize is BYD is actually the largest manufacturer of LFP batteries, and they believe they will account for 60%, in fact, more than 60% of the global battery market by 2024. And it seems as though Elon Musk actually agrees with that comment as well. Now, getting back to safety, BYD's nail test in their video shows what often happens to a ternary battery pack when it's pierced by a nail is it sets itself on fire. Catastrophically. The Blade battery doesn't. But in addition to that, that's not all. BYD put their Blade battery into a 300 degrees Celsius furnace from which it emerged unscathed. That is incredible. Even after overcharging it to 260%, no fire or explosion was reported. And BYD performed an extreme structure test where a 46-ton truck drove over the battery, but that didn't cause any leakage, deformation, or smoke. BYD put it back in the car, it drove away, and it seemed to be fine. So what are the specifications of BYD's batteries? And this is an area where you may be able to say BYD are not looking at any great sort of revolutionary technology. They're just looking at doing things that they know how to do well. Gravimetric energy density is 166 watts per kilo. In some models, it's 140 watts per kilo, some it's 150, and in some it's now 166. Their latest vehicles, the Han and the Tang, have the 166 watt per kilo energy density, which enables them to have more range than the previous models of that EV. And the BYD Seal, or the Atto 4, will have that technology as well. 166 watts per kilo. That's very, very good for lithium iron phosphate batteries. It's pretty good. Even for the industry of ternary batteries, it's not bad. But in comparison to what we're seeing from CATL, Goshon High-Tech, and some other Chinese manufacturers working on their latest variants of LFP batteries, and even other batteries such as ternary batteries, that energy density is quite low. And that is where BYD is certainly not leading the industry. They don't intend to. That's not what they're after, like I've said. The energy density of the latest LFP batteries coming out of some of these other companies in China is around 230 watts per kilo. Big difference, 166 versus 230. So you can see energy density in some of these newer batteries that are coming out by the end of this year is quite a lot higher. So I think it was important to set the record straight. We know what BYD does. They do it very well. Should you consider buying a BYD? Well, I have. I've bought one. I think what they do is excellent. But I think people are getting confused, thinking BYD is this revolutionary new technology company making revolutionary new batteries that have incredible technology. That's not what they do. They specialize in making products that are safe, durable, and work well. Not in making products that are revolutionary with brand new, higher energy density that's market leading. That is absolutely not what they are about. But people are making these claims online, and I think it's important to recognize that that is not what BYD is. Yes, other companies are doing that. BYD is focusing more on producing what they make now, what they do well, ramping production up as fast as they can, and serving the market with affordable, high quality, and safe EVs that, frankly, I recommend buying if you can. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.